All right, let's just jump right in. Today, we are getting into something we've all been through, but don't really talk about. What you do when your digestive system kind of goes off the rails. We're going to look at the actual science behind the fixes for when things slow to a crawl or when they kick into overdrive. So, have you ever felt like this? One day everything is humming along just fine, and the next it's either hit the emergency brake or it's decided to enter a high-speed race. These little gut rebellions are, let's be honest, super disruptive. But if you understand how the fixes actually work, you're already halfway to getting things back on track. Okay, so before we get into the repair manual, we've got to understand the machine itself, right? Your gut is this unbelievably complex, dynamic system. And its main gig isn't just digesting food. A huge part of its job is managing the flow of water and nutrients for your entire body. Yeah, a healthy gut is all about this delicate dance. It's constantly absorbing water and electrolytes, but it's also secreting them, all to keep things in this perfect state of equilibrium. When that balance is on point, everything moves, well, smoothly. But for this explainer, we're zeroing in on what happens when that balance gets totally thrown for a loop. So let's tackle the first malfunction, the slowdown. Constipation. It's exactly what it sounds like. The whole system gets sluggish and things get, stuck. And it's more than just an annoyance. It's a direct signal that the fundamental process of water management has gone wrong. So what's really happening here? Well, it pretty much boils down to one of two things. Either the stool is moving through your colon way too slowly, which gives your body too much time to suck all the water out of it, or your body is just absorbing too much water from the get-go. Either way, the result is exactly the same: hard, difficult-to-pass stool. Okay, so how do you fix this? How do you clear up that internal traffic jam? This is where laxatives come into play. But, and this is important, not all laxatives are the same. Not by a long shot. They actually use 3 completely different strategies to get the job done.
Think of this as your toolkit. First, you've got your sponge types. These are the bulk-forming laxatives. They're pretty gentle, they just soak up water to add some soft bulk. Next, you have the water magnets, the osmotics. These guys are more direct. They use things like salts or sugars to literally pull water into the colon. And finally, you have the motivators. These are the stimulants, the real heavy hitters that directly tell your gut muscles, hey, time to get moving.
And those motivators bring us to a really, really critical warning. The source material could not be more clear. Chronic use of stimulant purgatives must be discouraged. Why? Because if you rely on them too much, your colon can actually get, well, lazy. The medical term is colonic atrophy. It starts to depend on that chemical kick and kind of forgets how to work on its own, which can make the original problems so much worse down the line. All right, let's totally flip the script and look at the opposite problem. When the system isn't slow, it's stuck in the fast lane. We're talking about diarrhea. And look, this isn't just unpleasant, it's a sign of a serious breakdown in how your gut is supposed to be managing fluids. And this is where things get really, really serious. Just look at this number, 1,400. That's how many young children die from diarrhea every single day. It's just staggering. For many of us, it's a miserable day or two. But globally, the real danger, the real killer, isn't the diarrhea itself. It's the massive dehydration that comes with it. At its core, the problem is excess water loss. This can happen for a couple of reasons. Maybe an infection is making your gut actively pump out tons of fluid, or maybe inflammation has damaged the lining so it just can't absorb water properly. Whatever the cause, the bottom line is the same. Your body is losing water and vital electrolytes way faster than it can replace them. So if dehydration is the main enemy, then rehydrating is priority number 1. But here's the kicker. You can't just chug plain water. That's not going to cut it. The science behind how to properly rehydrate is both incredibly simple and honestly brilliant, and it has saved millions upon millions of lives. And this is it. This is one of the greatest medical breakthroughs of the last century. Scientists figured out that even when your gut is in total chaos, there's a special little gateway that keeps working, one that pulls in sodium and glucose at the same time. And here's the magic trick. Wherever sodium goes, water is forced to follow. That is the entire principle behind oral rehydration solution, or ORS. By mixing just the right amount of salt, sugar, and water, you can essentially hijack this system to pull water back into your body. And the science just keeps getting better. The original ORS formula from '84 was an absolute game changer, but in 2002, they improved it. They created a new low osmolarity formula. And get this, it rehydrates just as effectively, but it also reduces overall stool volume and even cuts down on vomiting. It's a perfect example of refining life-saving science to make it work even better for people. So, after you're rehydrating, what about managing the ongoing symptoms? You've got a few tools. There are drugs that basically act like brakes for your gut, slowing down those propulsive movements. Then there are others that go right to the source and tell your intestines to stop pumping out so much extra fluid. And of course, you have probiotics. The idea there is to restore your healthy gut bacteria, though their exact role as a standard treatment is still being established. Now, it's really important we just zoom out for a second. We need to see the bigger picture here. This whole simple model of too slow or too fast, it works great for acute temporary problems, but it doesn't even begin to tell the whole story of gut health. Because for millions of people who live with chronic conditions like inflammatory bowel disease, that's IBD, things like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, the problem isn't just a simple mechanical issue. It's way, way more complex. You've got the body's own immune system getting involved, you have chronic inflammation, and that all requires highly specialized therapies that target the root of the problem. So what's the real takeaway from all this? I think it's that these gut reactions, constipation, diarrhea, they're signals. They are messages from an incredibly complex and intelligent system. And while knowing how the remedies work is great, it's even more powerful to step back and ask, what is my gut actually trying to tell me about my diet, my stress, or my overall health? The goal isn't just to fix the problem, but to get better at listening when your body speaks.